Chalo, everyone with me? Yes, ma'am. Starting with the first chapter, that is assessment and audit. Ma'am, what is the meaning of assessment? Assess means to simply determine something. Assess means to simply determine something, and in connection with taxation, we can particularly say that assessment means to determine the tax liability. That today, if I have earned 10 lakh rupees, what is going to be my income tax on that 10 lakh rupees I calculate? That is my assessment. Similarly, in GST, ma'am, whenever I'm doing any supply or I'm taking any inward supply taxable on RCM, anything like that, then how much tax I should be paying, determining that is known as assessment. Now you can do your self-assessment also, department can do your reassessment also, best judgment assessment also. We study about summary assessment, which is done to protect the revenue interest of government. There is an option of provisional assessment also. So all these types of assessments we are going to study one by one. So assessment simply means to determine tax liability, right ma'am? Then ma'am, what is the meaning of audit? Audit simply means to examine. Ma'am, what do we examine in audit? Records, returns, all the documents that you maintain. Ma'am, why would government be interested in auditing my accounts records? Because government wants to make sure that whatever turnover, taxes, refund, ITC you have shown on portal, it is correct or not. Also, whether everything that you have done in your books of accounts is in accordance with provisions of act or rules, provisions of act and rules or not. So to determine the correctness of everything that you have declared, that is your turnover, ITC, tax, refund, everything, and to assess that you have complied with all the laws and regulations of GST, department can of course carry out your audit. But ma'am, why is a need of assessment and audit in the GST regime? Because ma'am, GST is a tax which is based on self-assessment. Government says that see every month you yourself only declare your sales in GSTR1, you yourself only take ITC in GSTR3B, you yourself only declare what is your RCM payable, and we will rely on your self-assessment. So ma'am, of course, when you trust someone, there are trust issues also. So because GST is a regime which relies on self-assessment, government needs to put in place some kind of check, some kind of mechanism to make sure that there are no frauds, no errors, no mistakes, no cheatings, and there is a proper compliance done by everyone. Right, ma'am. So one by one, starting with all the types of assessments, section number 59 of CGST Act talks about self-assessment. The meaning is itself there in the name, ma'am. Self-assessment means to determine tax liability myself only. I am doing my own assessment. This is known as self-assessment. So government is saying that see, every registered person is going to do his or her own self-assessment only. End of the month or end of the quarter, depending upon whether you are monthly return filer or quarterly return filer, you do your own assessment. You only determine what is tax payable, what is ITC claimable, and then file your return under section 39. Very simple 2-line section. Then ma'am, section 60 talks about provisional assessment. In Hindi, we have this saying known as Saathe Buddhi Naathe. Saath means 60. Saathe Buddhi Naathe means as soon as you turn 60 years of age, your Buddhi means ma'am knowledge slightly start deteriorating. Why ma'am? You know, we've heard this that old people start behaving like children. Old people tend to then forget things, get kiddish, get mood swings, etc. Yes ma'am. So as soon as we turn 60, we are again like a child, and now we are forgetting how to determine value and rate. This is just a technique for you to remember the section number. Right ma'am. So when a taxable person is unable to determine the value of goods, services or the rate of tax, only two things ma'am. Why? Because the GST amount is equal to value, taxable value multiplied by rate of tax. If 1000 multiplied by 18% is 180, I understand I only need two variables to determine the GST amount, and that is value and rate. So if I am unable to determine, because of some complex matter or anything like that, I am unable to determine what is the value of my supply or what is the rate of tax applicable on my supply, I can go make an application to the proper officer. I can request proper officer that let me pay tax for now on a provisional basis, because if I don't pay, interest and etc. everything will be levied. It will be considered as my tax short paid, not paid. So I will have to pay. But there is a confusion with respect to either rate or value or both. So I can go apply to proper officer that okay, these are the supporting documents, these are the facts of the case, everything. Let me once pay tax on provisional basis. Okay, if proper officer, in order to do your provisional assessment, wants some kind of information, document, anything like that, they can ask for you. And within 90 days of you filing an application for provisional assessment, proper officer will allow you that, okay, you pay tax on provisional basis. So the day on which I apply, either online or through facilitation center, within 90 days from there, proper officer will allow me to pay tax on provisional basis. In this provisional order, they will determine, they will indicate that what value, what rate, or if there is a doubt with respect to both, we have taken provisionally for now. If department is wanting any bond, any security from you, they will also mention in this provisional order, and the amount of security, the value of security should not be exceeding 25% of the bond amount. So ma'am, in that case, I will go make application to proper officer. Within 90 days of that application, officer will allow me to pay tax on provisional basis, determining all the information in the provisional assessment order. And from the date of provisional assessment order, within 6 months, my final assessment will be done. These 6 months can be extended for further 6 months by additional commissioner, joint commissioner, or even further 4 years by commissioner, which means ma'am, in rarest of rare situation, it could be 6 months plus 6 months plus 4 years. It might even take 5 years to do my final assessment. But what is the regular normal time limit, ma'am? It is 6 months. So the date on which provisional assessment order is made, within 6 months, my final assessment order will come. Now, of course, there are two possibilities, ma'am. Either I had originally short paid the taxes, or I had provisionally excess paid the taxes. Ma'am, we thought that the rate of GST would be 5% provisionally, so we paid 50 rupees as GST. But now after final assessment, proper officer is saying that no, it is 18%. So ma'am, 180 minus 50, 130 I have short paid, which means I need to now pay 180, I need to now pay 130, which was short paid initially. So okay, you will of course pay the differential tax. But the story doesn't end here, not just the tax. Tell me in comment section how much interest also you have to pay. Ma'am, I have to pay the differential tax along with 18% per annum interest also. And most very important, this interest will be applicable from the due date of payment till the date of actual payment. Let us say I was unable to determine the value or rate for January 2025. I applied for provisional assessment. Provisional assessment order came on, let us say 12 Feb. On 12 Feb, I got my provisional assessment order. Okay. I paid the taxes provisionally on this date, etc. everything, and then later, ma'am, my final assessment order came on 20 September 2025, and after that on 22 September, I paid the amount that was short. So for what period 18% interest will be applicable? Ma'am, the month was January, pertaining to which I got my provisional assessment done. So what is the actual due date to pay taxes of January? 20 Feb, ma'am. So my interest will start from 20 Feb on the short payment, and it will continue till the date of actual payment, which is 22 September. So actually, to determine interest, the date of provisional assessment order or the date of final assessment order, both are irrelevant. What you actually need is the original due date of payment till the date of actual payment. You will be applying 18% per annum interest on the short paid amount. Right, ma'am. But if you have excess paid the taxes initially, ma'am, actually only 50 GST was payable, but provisionally I paid 180, which means now I need to take a refund of 130. So government is saying that as soon as we give you the final assessment order, you apply for refund. You have to apply. It is not that if in final order it is written that there is a refund and they will give you. No, without asking, you get nothing in GST. So even if you have your final assessment order in hand, on the basis of this order, you will have to go and make a refund application. The day on which you make refund application. If you are given refund from there within 60 days, then you don't get any interest. The day on which you apply, if you get interest, if you get the refund, let's say after 70 days, then you will be getting interest at the rate of 6% per annum for 10 days. So for 60 days, starting from the date of application for refund till 60 days, you get zero interest. If they give you refund within 60 days only, then they will not give you any interest. For the period over and above 60 days, for the period over and above 60 days, they will be giving you interest, and that too at the rate of 6% per annum. Is this clear to everyone? Say yes, ma'am. We will solve a question also end of the chapter for this particular topic. Okay, ma'am. Once everything is done, your provisional assessment is finalized, you have paid all the short payments and you've claimed refund, everything is done, you can go and apply for release of your security. At the time of original provisional assessment, they had made you furnish a bond and security. No. So now everything is over. So I will go and apply for release of my security also. So within 7 days of my application, within 7 working days of my application, they will also release my security. Perfect, ma'am. Then talking about section 61, which says scrutiny of returns. Now, ma'am, every return that is filed by a registered person will be scrutinized. The answer is no. Scrutiny is done on selective basis. Scrutiny is done on selective basis. If you file return, it is not necessary that it will always be scrutinized by department. So, proper officer may, on random basis or on some data basis or a risk evaluation basis, whatever basis, proper officer may select your return particularly, to get scrutinized. He will verify based on all the information available with the officer that whether your filed return seems correct or not. If there is any discrepancy found on the side of proper officer, he will issue you a notice. Let's see, you have shown your sales as 50 crore for this particular month, but according to officer, it should be 70 crores because he has some e-way bills or some data with respect to GSTR 1, GSTR 2A, 2B, and he thinks your sale should be 70. You have shown 50 only. So they will simply issue you a notice and ask for an explanation within 30 days. The day on which they give you notice, within 30 days or plus extra time officer can permit to you, you have to explain that why is there a discrepancy in the return. Now, ma'am, there are 4 possible scenarios which can arise. Okay, let us say Prashant. Prashant has a girlfriend. Ma'am, Prashant has a girlfriend, Aparna, let us assume. Now, ma'am, Prashant told Aparna, chalo, we have madam's marathon tomorrow, so I have to sleep, wake up early, and then I will with full josh sit in the marathon. So he told Aparna, okay baby, bye, good night, I am going to sleep. And after 5 minutes, Aparna saw that Prashant's status on WhatsApp is showing online. And she was mad. She was like, then if you were awake, if you wanted to talk to other girls only, then why did you waste my time? Why did you tell me that you have to attend marathon, etc., etc.? And now she issued a notice to Prashant that I need an explanation about this discrepancy. Why were you online after telling me good night? Now, Prashant has a 30 days time. Practically, he would not be even having 30 minutes. But okay, according to GST, he has a 30 days time to reply to her. Now, there can be 4 situations. Situation 1, he accepts his mistake that, okay, I told you good night, but then one of my friend texted and I just chatted with him for 10-15 minutes. That is all. I'm very, very sorry. He sent her chocolate, teddy bear, gifts, flowers, everything, and the matter was resolved. Which means, ma'am, you have accepted your discrepancy that, okay, proper officer, my mistake. I pay all the tax, interest, penalty, other amounts in form, and the matter is over there and then. Possibility number 2, Prashant accepted the discrepancy. I was talking to my friend, so what? Which means you have accepted, but you are not saying sorry. You are not giving her chocolates, you are not pampering her, you are not taking any corrective measure. What can happen? Wait and watch. Prashant, you just wait and watch what can happen. Or ma'am, other possibility is you are not accepting the discrepancy only. And then Prashant says to Aparna, hey Aparna, do you remember ma'am had given some notes and she said that before marathon you just read these notes and come so that you will better understand, etc., etc. I was going through the important question list. What do you think about me? Oh my God. Aparna is like, I am sorry. So now Prashant did not accept his discrepancy, but he submitted a very, very acceptable explanation. We gave a reason to officer that why is there a discrepancy? There is no discrepancy as such. See officer, this is the reason. Okay, matter over. He is satisfied. But ma'am, Prashant is not accepting the discrepancy and not even giving satisfactory explanation. He's like, Arey, after I said good night, Ria texted and it was nothing like we friends, and Aparna's head is gone. Which means, ma'am, two situations where you are accepting but not taking corrective actions. Second, you are not accepting but also giving stupid explanations which are not accepted by proper officer. Then in these two scenarios, ma'am, the proper officer may take recourse of any of the following. What are the recourses available, ma'am? Audit, special audit, inspection, and proceedings of demand and recovery. Very simple. All the further chapters that we are going to study. Ma'am, audit, special audit. Now Aparna will simply come to Prashant Soman, show me your phone. Show me your phone. I need to read your chats. Ma'am, this is audit. She herself doesn't come. She sends an expert person, special audit. Now, she's like, Arey, not just phone, chalo. Show me your almirah. Show me everything. Show me your bag. What gifts you are giving her. What gifts you are taking from her. Ma'am, inspection. And last is the proceeding of demand and recovery under section 73, 74. And now the new section inserted 74A also. Right, ma'am. So, recourses can be taken from any of these. If you are accepting discrepancy but not taking corrective action, or you are not accepting discrepancy but not giving satisfactory explanation also. Tell me, is section 61 clear to everyone? Yes or yes, ma'am? Chalo. How much have we studied? Section 59, self-assessment. Saathe buddhi naathe. Section 60, provisional assessment for when you are unable to determine either value or rate. Then, ma'am, section 61, which talks about scrutiny. And there are 4 recourses available with officer: audit, special audit, inspection, search, seizure, and the last is demand recovery. Demand, section 73, 74 and 74A. Then moving on to best judgment assessment. Ma'am, there are 2 sections involved in best judgment assessment, section 62 and section 63. Section 62 says that you are a registered person who has not filed returns. You are a registered person who has not filed returns, and section 63 says that you are an unregistered person only. So, of course, you cannot file return. Now, if you are not filing return, of course, proper officer, based on whatever information he is having, will issue you an order saying that, see, you did not do your own assessment, we gave you an option. But now because you have not done your own assessment, this is the assessment according to us, now you pay these taxes. And we of course understand that if officer will do assessment, he will of course make us pay more taxes only. So ma'am, notwithstanding 73, 74, 74A, you forget the demand sections. If you are a registered person, under section 62, if you are a registered person who is failing to furnish GSTR 3B or the final return, so you are a registered person failing to furnish your returns, plus the department has already issued you section 46 notice also. Ma'am, what was section 46 notice? Whenever you don't file your returns up to your due date, a system generated notice is issued to you. See here, guidelines to ensure uniformity. So normally, for every registered person, 3 days before the due date, you get a text message and a mail from department that the due date is there in 3 days, whether you have filed your GST return or not. This is a system generated message sent to everyone. Then once the due date is over, for the people who have not filed their returns, on the due date, again a system generated mail message is sent to all the defaulters that hello, due date is over, you have still not filed your returns. And ma'am, after 5 days from due date, let's say due date was 20, and if you are not filing your returns till 25, then in that case, compulsory a system generated section 46 notice is issued to you. The notice says that, hello, last option available to you. You file your return within 15 days, otherwise your case becomes open for best judgment assessment. What are we understanding, ma'am? 3 days prior to due date, you get one intimation. After due date, only the people who have not filed return gets another intimation. And after 5 days of due date, compulsory to everyone who have not filed their returns, system generated section 46 notice is issued. In this notice, you get a last 15 days time to file your returns. If those 15 days are also over, then your case becomes open for best judgment assessment, and now proper officer can anytime within 5 years from the due date of filing annual return for that financial year do your best judgment assessment. So let us say I have not filed some return in FY 24-25. Let's say I have not filed my Jan or Feb month return in FY 24-25. What is the due date of annual return? 31st December 2025. So within 5 years from here, that is 31st December 2030, anytime proper officer can do my best judgment assessment. Now, ma'am, we have one last option available with us, that if the officer has done best judgment assessment, let's assume today. So officer had time till 2030. Let's say in 2027, officer issued me a best judgment assessment order. But within 60 days of receiving the order, I voluntarily went ahead and filed my returns based on my self-assessed liability only. That is okay. Officer will withdraw the best judgment assessment order issued. Ma'am, can you please repeat? Yes. The day on which best judgment assessment order is issued to you. If you are a registered person and you file returns within 60 days from here based on your self-assessment only, that is okay. We consider your return as valid, and this best judgment assessment order issued by officer will be considered as withdrawn. However, your taxes, interest, your late fees, all those amounts payable by you will continue to apply. Even if you are unable to pay within 60 days of best judgment assessment, department is allowing you a further period of next 60 days also, which means ma'am total 60 plus another 60. I get 120 days total from best judgment assessment to file returns on my own and save myself from the best judgment assessment order. However, ma'am, this 60 days that you get, no, are just, you have to pay the tax, section 50, 18% interest and the late fees normally. In returns chapter, we see late fees for all the returns. Every single day you have to pay this rupee of late fees, everything like that. So that normally you have to pay. Now if you are further extending 60 by 60, if you are further extending this 60 by this 60, now department is saying for this period over and above, let us say I am filing after 70 days, then for the 10 days that are over and above 60 days, my normal section 47 late fees I have to pay only. Normal section 47 late fees that I was paying here, this so I have to pay for 10 days also. Plus I will have to pay extra another 100 rupees each day. Another 100 rupees each day for the period beyond 60 days. Now this 100 is under CGST Act, which means practically we have to pay 200, which is CGST plus SGST. Are we understanding this, everyone? Say yes, ma'am. To summarize entire section 62, if you are a registered person failing to file the return, plus you have also received the section 46 notice where you get the 15 days time and you have not paid your, you have not filed your returns, then in that case, any time from the due date of annual return till 5 years, officer can issue you a best judgment assessment order. The day on which officer issues you best judgment assessment order, within 60 days from there, you have an option to file your return and save yourself from the assessment done by officer. This 60 normal late fees interest that you always normally pay will be applicable. Plus you have an option to extend it for further 60 days also. For further 60 days also, your normal late fees, so you anyways have to pay section 47 late fees. Plus 100 rupees extra under CGST Act, 100 rupees extra under SGST Act also you have to pay for the period over and above 60 days. And you can save yourself from the assessment issued by proper officer. Beyond this period, so then you have no option only. You will have to then compulsorily pay taxes according to the best judgment assessment order. Bolo, is it clear to everyone? Say yes, ma'am. Chalo, chalo, chalo. Everyone watching the lecture live, quickly in the comment section, tell me yes, ma'am. Then moving on to section 63, which is extremely simple because you are an unregistered person or you are a person whose registration is cancelled by the proper officer. So basically, you don't have a registration, which means you cannot file returns, but you are liable. Then proper officer can anytime do your best judgment assessment because you are unregistered. They cannot even give you an option to file the returns because you are unregistered. How will you file? So officers at the max can give you only an opportunity of being heard. So before doing this kind of best judgment assessment for unregistered person, officer simply issues a notice to them that okay, these are the reasons why we are going to do your best judgment assessment. You have a 15 days time to reply if you have anything. And after this, same time limit only. Financial year, due date to file annual return within 5 years, anytime they can do your best judgment assessment. Bolo, will there be an option of withdrawal here? Can section 63 order once issued be withdrawn? The answer is no, ma'am. Why no? Because I am an unregistered person. Even if they give me a 60 days time to file my return, I cannot because I don't have a registration. And unregistered person cannot, of course, file returns at any point of time. Which means, ma'am, this withdrawal possibility is only there in section 62 and not in section 63. Done, ma'am. Guidelines we've already seen. Ma'am, how will the proper officer do my best judgment assessment? By the details that are available from here and there. Your sales he can see from GSTR 1, purchases from your suppliers filing GSTR 1 reflecting in your 2A 2B, details from e-way bills or any other information that they got from any kind of inspection or scrutiny or summon or etc. Right, ma'am. Or section 71, they can come to your business premises, ask you for all the documents and records, and from there also they can determine. So there are multiple ways through which they can do your best judgment assessment. Right, ma'am. And finally, moving to the last type of assessment, that is section 64, summary assessment. Ma'am, summary assessment can be done when the officer feels that taxable person has incurred a liability. So the proper officer has an evidence that this person has incurred a liability, which means either let's say the tax is not paid or short paid or something is done. But the proper officer also has sufficient grounds to believe that if I follow the full procedure of a regular assessment, section 73, 74, 74A, this person might run till that time. So we don't have this much time that we issue him notice, then he will reply, then we will reply, then he will reply, and then order will be issued, etc., etc. So it is very expedient that if we want to protect the interest of revenue, we should do the assessment right here and now only. Otherwise, within 1 hour, this person will fly to another country. So summary assessment is initiated to protect the interest of revenue with previous permission of additional commissioner or joint commissioner when the officer has evidence to believe that taxable person has incurred a liability, and plus I have very strong reasons to believe, I have very sufficient grounds that if I let this person go, this person will run and the interest of revenue will be lost. In that case, summary assessment can be quickly done. Because ma'am, these assessments are done very fast in expedient manner, there are always possibility of errors, and therefore ma'am, additional commissioner or joint commissioner may withdraw the order of summary assessment on the application of taxable person only. So I am only applying to officer that are you please withdraw my summary assessment, you do the general assessment, I am here only, I will not run, this is so incorrect only. So the day on which I receive the order, within 30 days from there, I can only go ahead and apply to the additional commissioner, joint commissioner that you please withdraw this and do a proper assessment if you even want to do. Or they got a self-realization that jaldi ke chakkar mein we made a mistake. So the additional commissioner or the joint commissioner on own motion also may consider their summary assessment order to be erroneous and then decide to instead follow the full procedure of 73, 74 or 74A. Right, ma'am. This is a very unique assessment which can be done of someone who is not even the actual taxable person. Let us say, ma'am, there is a truck caught in transit and officer has evidences that these goods have evaded taxes. Now, if I let the truck driver go, he will disappear and I might not ever be able to catch that person. Now, I am repeatedly asking the truck driver that who is the owner of goods? Who is the owner of goods? He is not uttering a word, which means, ma'am, if I let this person go, I might lose the interest of revenue. I have evidence that liability is incurred. I am unable to determine who is the taxable person also. What to do? Then under summary assessment, section 64, officer has the power to do summary assessment of the person in charge who is there at that point of time if you are unable to ascertain that who is the original owner. So we are saying that if taxable person is not ascertainable and liability pertains to supply of goods, the person in charge of the goods shall be deemed to be the taxable person and we can now do assessment of this person also. For example, transporter, or let us say some goods are found in a warehouse and now the warehouse keeper, the warehouse owner is not saying that who is the owner. We will do summary assessment of the warehouse owner or the transporter. So this is a point of deemed taxable person. See, all other assessments are done on the registered person, on the taxable person only who is responsible, who is liable. But only the summary assessment, because we cannot lose on revenue, the person will go away. Therefore, we can do assessment on the deemed taxable person also. Done, ma'am. Here we complete the entire chapter of assessment. Audit has two sections, ma'am. Section 65, normal tax audit done by the department itself, and section 66, special audit, where they hire a chartered accountant, cost accountant to do the audit. Very, very simple, ma'am. Section 65 is conducted by the commissioner or any officer who can be authorized by the commissioner. Okay, ma'am. Who is the auditee? A registered person. Where is the audit done? Either the officer can come at your place of business to do your audit, or they can even call you with the records at their office to do the audit. So audit may be carried out the place of business of registered person or in the office of proper officer. Period can be one full financial year, part of financial year, multiple financial years, however the officer wants. And they do not even need to pass separate order for each financial year. A single order for the full period covered they can issue. Because, ma'am, audit is done in a very amicable way. Audit is not like raid or search or inspection where the officer is suddenly coming that this is a raid. No. They will first at least give you 15 working days time. They will pre-intimate you that we will come on this date or we will call you for records on this date and we will start the audit. So at least they can give more time also, at least 15 working days time they will have to give to the registered person to arrange for all the records accounts for the audit purpose. So they will issue a notice, at least giving 15 working days to the person. Now the day on which either officer actually comes to my place and starts the audit, or the officer calls me with all the accounts records and I am making everything available, whichever is later, from that date audit will be deemed as it is started. And from that date, within 3 months plus an extension of 6 months, the officer has to complete the audit and present the audit report. Ma'am, what will be the work of the registered person? To cooperate. So the registered person will have to facilitate verification, provide all the information, render assistance, whatever the officer is asking with respect to your books, documents, statements, records, turnover, ITC, exemption, deduction, everything you will have to tell to the officer. And then they will ask you the queries and everything will be finalized. So on the conclusion of the audit, within 30 days, on the conclusion of the day on which the audit is finished, concluded, within 30 days from there, the officer will finally tell you that what he has found in the audit, what are your rights, obligations now, what are the reasons for finding, and further if the taxes are not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, ITC wrongly availed, utilized, they can initiate action under section 73, 74 or 74A depending upon the situation. Right, ma'am. Section 66 talks about special audit. So whenever during any point of time, at the time of scrutiny, inquiry or investigation, if officer is finding that value is not declared correctly or ITC is taken too much, outside the normal limits ITC is taken, they can hire a chartered accountant or a cost accountant to do your audit because the matter is complex. the auditor will get 90 days plus extension of 90 days time to complete the audit. See, you please remember the difference between the due date. In section 65, when officer is doing the audit, the time limit that is available is 3 months plus 6 months. But in section 66, when chartered accountant or cost accountant is doing the audit, the time limit available is 90 days plus 90 days. Yes, Nikhil, thank you so much. Congratulations. Chaliye. Expenses of audit will of course be determined and paid by the commissioner only. Finalization, you will be given opportunity of being heard, everything done. If there is tax not paid, short paid, erroneously refunded, etc., then 73, 74, 74A can be invoked. Ma'am, already my stat audit is done. Already my tax audit is done. But still officer is telling me to get this GST audit under section 66. Will I have to do it? The answer is yes. Irrespective of whether your accounts are already audited, they would be audited with some another point of view. Here, we specifically want to audit with respect to the query or the doubt that officer has. So yes, of course, with prior approval of commissioner, audit can be conducted again also. And officer always will have to first see. Officer will always first have regard to the nature and complexity of the case and interest of revenue. Right, ma'am. So the officer will always see. It's like the fees of chartered accountant is, ma'am, 2 lakh rupees. But the demand recovery that we were able to do from the person was 1 lakh rupee only. So ultimately, it's a loss on part of department. So because cost is involved, expert will be involved, resources will be involved, the officer should always first be sure about the nature, complexity, and then only enter into such kind of audits by chartered accountant and cost accountant. So important you remember the time limit difference. Section 65 done by department officer only. Section 66 they hire a chartered accountant or a cost accountant. The time limit available here is 3 months plus 6 months, and here it is 90 days plus 90 days. Rest everything is similar only. Yes, Muskan. Done. And here we wind up the entire chapter of assessment and audit under GST. We will solve one question of provisional assessment and then we proceed further with the next chapter. Chalo. Come to the question bank. The PDF of question bank is already shared on Telegram channel. So you can go access it, download it, print it and practice questions. Chalo ma'am, chalo. Come to assessment and audit. Question number 7, Kulbhushan and Sons. Kulbhushan and Sons entered into a contract to supply consignment of certain taxable goods. However, since it is unable to determine value, see, either if you are unable to determine value or rate, then section 60, provisional assessment, comes into picture. It applies for payment of tax on such goods on a provisional basis, along with all the required documents. On 12 January, Assistant Commissioner of Central Tax issues an order allowing payment of taxes on provisional basis, indicating the value and everything, bond and security, everything. Kulbhushan and Sons complies with the same, supplies the goods on 25 January. So we have supplied the goods on 25 January. So tell me, what will be the due date of paying taxes for 25 January? Ma'am, whatever supplies we do in January month, the due date of paying the taxes on the same would be the due date of GST or 3B for Jan, which is 20 February. So I paid the sum amount on provisional basis on 19 February and I entered into transaction with respect to this consignment. Now, consequent to the final assessment order passed by Assistant Commissioner on 21st March, tax of 1,80,000 becomes due. And we actually pay this tax on 9th April. So, ma'am, provisional assessment order issued on, provisional assessment order in January, final assessment order coming on 21st March. But I am paying the short payment of 1,80,000 on 9th April. Determine the interest payable. Assuming all other facts remaining same, if consequent to final assessment order passed on 21st March and tax becomes refundable, then what to do? Okay, refund part we will see later. First, let us see the short payment part. So, ma'am, there is a short payment of 1,80,000 on which 18% per annum interest will be applicable. For how many days, ma'am? For how many days, ma'am? from the due date till the date of actual payment. The date of provisional assessment, the date of final assessment, nothing is relevant. So ma'am, from 20 February till when I have paid 9th April, I will have to apply the interest. Ma'am, in Feb there are total 28 days. So 28 minus 28 days of Feb plus March plus 9 days of April. So for 48 days, interest will be applicable, which is 4261 rupees. Clear to everyone? Yes, ma'am. Then they are saying that if every other thing remaining constant, there is a refund arising. There is a refund arising of 4,20,000. You apply for refund on 9 April and you get the refund on 5 June. Ma'am, if I get the refund within 60 days, I will not get any interest. So from 9 April, if you calculate 60 days, calculate 60 days from 9 April, ma'am. So April has a total of 30 days, 30 minus 9, 21 days of April only, plus 31 of May. And so 21 plus 31 is 52, ma'am. So 8 June. 8 June is the day on which 60 days is expiring. 8 June is the day on which 60 days is expiring, but I have got the refund on 5 June only, which is within 60 days. Therefore, I will say that no, because I have got the refund within 60 days from the date of receipt of application, no interest on the tax refunded will be given. Bolo, is it clear to everyone? Sorted, done. Chalo, ma'am. So you mark that question as important for provisional assessment. Rest everything as such was theory in the chapter. Perfect, guys. Chalo, drop some dil dil, aag, bomb bomb, heart heart, fire fire emojis in the comment section. We proceed further with the next chapter. Done, ma'am. Chalo. Now let us start the revision of inspection, search, seizure and arrest. Very simple chapter, only theory and theory that you have to learn. No practical application as such. Right, ma'am. So when do we as in department actually invokes the provisions of inspection, search, seizure or arrest whenever they feel that these options are now the only and last circumstances left to protect the revenue of government. Normally, straight away department will not resort to inspection, search, seizure. They will first issue you notices, do your assessments and etc. If nothing is happening, then department will resort to this inspection, search, seizure, arrest as the last resort. Ma'am, why do we even have these provisions? To protect the genuine interest of genuine taxpayers. Now today I am paying all the taxes honestly and I see a person who is evading GST continuously. I will also be motivated by him, know that see, he's not paying any taxes and I am paying everything honestly. What benefit I am getting? But no, I will not do that because now I know department might anytime come to his place, do a raid, punish him, etc. Right, ma'am. Starting with section 67, we completed till 66 in assessment and audit. So next section, section 67 is about the power of inspection, search and seizure. You try to remember things along with me in the revision video only. I will give you some or the other techniques which will make it simple for you. Okay, ma'am. So we first of all start with inspection. Section 67 contains provisions about inspection also, search also, seizure also, search and seizure and inspection. So inspection is comparatively a softer provision. Raid, what we call in general language, is known as search and seizure in the GST language. Right, ma'am. But inspection is comparatively very soft to raid. In inspection, the officer will come at your place of business. Now, not necessary only if you are a taxable person. For inspection purposes, officer can come to place of taxable person, of course, also a person who is engaged in transporting goods, basically the transporter who deals in goods of other people, or ma'am, owner operator of warehouse go down again, who deals in the taxable goods of other people. So the officer can come at your place of business to assess the place of business of taxable person or transporter or owner operator of warehouse go down. However, ma'am, officer will not on his own will come just like that. Officer will have to first get a written authorization. From whom, ma'am? from at least joint commissioner or officer above the rank of joint commissioner. So inspection can be carried out only when you have a written authorization given by at least joint commissioner or an officer above. Ma'am, when will? Now this is slightly important for theory part. Please learn it. They might ask you that in which situations your inspection can be carried out. In which situations the officer will give authorization. In which situation the officer will give authorization to carry out the inspection. So ma'am, whenever the proper officer has reasons to believe that taxable person has done says, we remember it using a technique known as says, ma'am, says. What is says? Either you have contravened, C for you have contravened any provision of the act just to evade taxes, or you have excess claimed ITC, or you have suppressed your supply, you have suppressed your stock, you have suppressed your transaction of supply, or you have suppressed your stock of goods. Chalo, write all the 4 points, one word in the comment section right now, guys. Chalo. Authorization can be carried out only if proper officer has reasons to believe that taxable person has done says. What is says, ma'am? Says you have contravened. You have contravened provisions of act to evade taxes. You have claimed excess ITC. You have suppressed your stock. You have suppressed your turnover, or basically the transaction of supply. Or ma'am, you are the transporter. Point number 2. We know that inspection can be done of transporter or owner operator warehouse godown also. So we are saying that if you are in point number 2, transporter or owner operator of warehouse godown, and you have kept the goods in such a way that those goods means you are dealing in goods which have evaded taxes, or you are maintaining your books of accounts in such a way that it shows it is likely to cause evasion of taxes, then we are saying, ma'am, officer can come at your place of business to carry out your inspection. Right, ma'am. What is search seizure, which is done in accordance with the Criminal Procedure Code 1973? Ma'am, officer carrying out the search operations has the power to search at your premises, seize the goods also, not just search. If they find some goods which have evaded taxes or some goods on which are questionable, they can anytime, if they are liable for confiscation, seize the goods. Let us say, ma'am, the goods are so big that it is practically not possible to seize and take it with them. They might even put a lock there and detain your goods. They can also take your documents, books, or other things that are relevant for proceeding with themselves. However, ma'am, let us say they are taking my books of accounts with them, but I need my books of accounts because let's say in future they issue me a notice. How will I reply? How will I give a backing if I don't have my books of accounts only? So you can always ask for copies or extract of the records that the officer is taking along with him. This search and seizure simply means, ma'am, raid operations. Raid, as you see in movies or you hear about in newspapers and news in the real life. Yes, ma'am. So officer can come, search for everything, seize the goods. If not practical, they can even detain the goods. They can, when they are taking your books, accounts, records, anything, you can of course ask for copies or extracts of the same. If you are denying them access, officer has a power to break your door, to open your door, to break your almirah, open your almirah, get into any place that they want for the search operations. Whatever books or documents they are taking along with them, they will have to return within 30 days of issuance of show cause notice. See, understand. They have taken my books of accounts, they studied everything, and based on that only, they issued me a show cause notice. Now they don't need my books of accounts. Then please return the books of accounts back to me. I understand. Let us say they seized my phone. They seized my phone and took it along with me because I had taken some wrong ITCs and taxes are evaded on these phones. Okay, ma'am. No problem. Till the full end of proceeding, you keep my phone because it might be possible that in final order, the phone actually is a tax evaded phone. So the things, the stock, the items, the goods that you are seizing, you keep with yourself, no problem. But what will you do of books of accounts? You have taken my books of accounts. You studied everything. You issued me show cause notice, and now you no more need to rely on these books of account for your case, then at least return the books of accounts to us within 30 days of issuing of show cause notice. So here we are saying that books, documents, things retain only till they are required. If then they are not relied, not required, issued show cause notice, everything done within 30 days, you please return it to the taxable person again. Okay, ma'am. What are the basic requirements that whenever officer is doing a search operation, they of course need to have a valid search warrant. Without search warrant, you cannot enter any premises and straight away start doing the search operations. So you need to have a search warrant. You are going to residence of a person, you of course need to have a lady officer accompanying you. Now, these all things we have seen in movies also. You might have seen Raid 2 very recently, right, ma'am? When you go to premises of someone, you have to show your ID card also. How will they trust on you that you are actually a department officer? So you will have to show your ID card also. You might even offer yourself for personal search, because understand, the taxable person might later say that this phone never belonged to me. Oh, officer only brought it from outside just to put the blame on me. So while entering the premises, you can offer yourself that, see, you can search our pockets, we don't have anything, we are entering empty handed. So whatever goods we catch now will belong to you only. While leaving the premise also, you have to offer yourself for personal search that, see, we have not taken anything, we have not stolen anything from your house. Now, it is the responsibility of the officer to offer himself for search while going into the premise, while coming out of the premise. But it is the decision of the taxable person whether he actually wants to search or not. So you offer yourself for search, but it is not necessary that search has to be done. That person can politely deny also that no, I trust you, you please come in. That is okay. So you show the ID card, and before the start of proceeding and after the completion of search, you all have to offer yourselves for the personal search also. Right, ma'am? The person in charge and at least 2 witnesses will sign the search warrant. Right, ma'am. And after all the proceedings are finished, a panchnama or a mahazar, it is basically the summary of everything that happened, is prepared, and it is one copy is given to the person in charge or the owner of premises, and the original goes to the original joint commissioner who had issued the authority to you to go and do the search operations. So after the search is over, the signed and executed search warrant is returned to the original issuing officer along with all the records, and he will then maintain the record in his register. Perfect. No Muskan, no need to apply. Okay, ma'am. Now, what is a search warrant? A document, a written authority issued by at least joint commissioner or above, by officer greater than equal to, this is missed out here, please mention, greater than equal to joint commissioner. So a written authority to conduct search issued by greater than equal to joint commissioner officer. Right, ma'am. Now this was earlier also asked in exam, might again also be asked, that what are the contents of a valid search warrant? What are the contents of a valid search warrant? Now the officer comes to you and says that, see, this is the search warrant based on which I will search your premises. I will search your premises. So now here, ma'am, what should actually be all the details contained in the search warrant? Ma'am, it is VPN square. How do you remember this? Whenever you want to search something online, what you do? You enter into the VPN. No, you use the VPN. You use the VPN to search anything. For students who are not understanding, guys, go watch Pogo. Yes, ma'am. So to search anything, we need VPN. No. So similarly, the contents of search warrant is VPN square, double VPN, ma'am. What is the actual violation done because of which search is being carried out? What is the validity of this search warrant? Not like I'll be using a 5-year-old search warrant to today go and do search operations. Of course, there will be a validity of the warrant. Which premises are to be searched? What is the place and date of issue of the search warrant? Then what is the serial number of the search warrant? And what is the name and designation of the officer issuing the search warrant, and name and designation of the officer who is authorized to go do and carry out the search operations, along with round seal of the issuing officer. So VVPPNN, VPN square are the contents of a valid search warrant. Once with me, guys, chalo. What is the violation? Validity, premise, place and date, serial number, and name and designation of the officer are supposed to be compulsorily mentioned in the search warrant. Right, ma'am. Which are the goods liable for confiscation? Ma'am, it is rare goods. Again, a mnemonic to remember, rare goods. Whenever you receive or supply goods in contravention of the act, you do not account for any goods, you are liable, but you don't take registration, or you are contravening provisions just with an intention to evade the taxes, your goods become liable for confiscation. Do not worry about section 130 here, because it again comes in the chapter of offences and penalties, where you can do it more nicely also. Right, ma'am. If your goods are confiscated, what is the manner to get your goods released? Ma'am, one is the provisional basis, that my goods, I need my goods back, ma'am. I cannot wait till the full proceedings are done and the order is issued and everything. I need my goods right now. Then, ma'am, you can simply execute a bond. Let's say you keep this bond, give me my goods. If at all any liability arises, I will pay. Otherwise, you can use the bond also. Or you simply furnish a security, or you actually pay the taxes only. You are like, okay, let me pay all the taxes, interest, penalty applicable. If anything other than this is finalized, we will adjust it later on. I need my goods right now, so I can pay everything, or I can furnish a bond security and take my goods on provisional basis. Or ma'am, the day on which officer is confiscating my goods, if there is no notice issued within 6 months from there. See, understand, officer came for search operation, confiscated my goods, took along with him. Then of course he has to issue some notice, know that what is the amount payable, what exactly I have done, what determination the officer has done. But it's been 6 months, officer just came, confiscated the goods, and now no notice issued to me. Then the time is gone, officer will have to actually return the goods to you forever. That he forgot to issue you notice only. Is it possible? Might be possible. So ma'am, today's confiscation is done. It is compulsory that within 6 months plus extension of 6 months by officer can be done. Within this period, they will have to issue you notice and finalize everything. Otherwise than that, they will actually have to return the goods to you. Or ma'am, if the goods are perishable or hazardous, or the goods are so big that they are facing storage constraints, etc., then they can of course dispose in a prescribed manner. Now that prescribed manner as such is not applicable for examination. You don't have to study, you just have to remember this much, that if the goods are hazardous, perishable, or very big, that we are facing storage constraints and problems, then officer will just prepare an inventory, have all the documentation, record about the goods, and officer can also sell the goods, auction out the goods. Right, ma'am. Section 68, we study with the e-way bill. 69 minus 168. 69 minus 168. E-way bill is how we remember. Ma'am, e-way bill is important, but not very, very important. Just like section 69 is very important for you, no? Yes, ma'am. Number 69, your favorite number, very important for you. But ma'am, e-way bill is slightly less important. So what we do is 69 minus 1, 68, e-way bill. With the e-way bill revision, you understand it very nicely. So ma'am, e-way bill is with respect to goods that are in movement, that are in transit. So of course ma'am, inspection of the goods that are in movement will also be covered in section 68 only. Right, ma'am. So even without authorization, now see, understand, normally whenever any inspection is done, you have to take written authorization of the Joint Commissioner. No. But ma'am, today there's a truck going on the road. We stopped the truck to verify e-way bill, all the documents, and now we will first tell the driver, hey, wait, please, we need to call the Joint Commissioner. Hello, Joint Commissioner, there is one truck here. We feel that there are duty evaded goods, tax evaded goods in the truck. Will you please send us a written authorization? Then I carry out the inspection. Is it possible? No, ma'am. So of course, for the inspection of goods which are in movement, there is no need of authorization. Also, officer can himself carry out the inspection of conveyance carrying the consignment of greater than 50,000. Why, ma'am? Because the limit of e-way bill is 50,000, and of course the person in charge will have to produce all the documents and allow for the inspection of the goods. Right, ma'am. Now your favorite number, section 69, ma'am. Why? Go watch the pogo, please, ma'am. Chalo. So section 69 is the power to arrest, ma'am. 69 you remember as handcuff. Handcuff is arrest, no? Yes, ma'am. Chalo, it is all for remembering purpose. So section 69 is the power to arrest. Arrest simply means to take the custody of a person under some lawful command. Of course, as per judicial pronouncements. Now, arrest is a very big thing to happen. So, of course, it has to be authorized by commissioner. Not for small amounts. If you have evaded taxes more than 2 crore rupees, if you have evaded taxes more than 2 crore rupees, then you can be arrested. But if you are a repeat offender, you keep repeating offense of 50 lakh, 50 lakh, 50 lakh all the time, then the limit of 2 crore will not apply and they can even arrest you for a repeat offense of less than 2 crore also. How to remember 2 crore, ma'am? You need 2 people, no? You need two people for your favorite number. Yes, ma'am. So, section 69 needs the limit of 2 crore. Right, ma'am. Now, we say safeguards for person placed under arrest. For under GST, normally all the offences are non-cognizable and bailable only. And you can be released via bail or by additional commissioner or the deputy commissioner. However, ma'am, there are some cognizable non-bailable offences, serious nature of offences, which are specified in the chapter of offences and penalties, where even the amount exceeds 5 crore rupees. In that case, these offences are cognizable, non-bailable. Compulsorily, you will be produced before the magistrate within 24 hours of your arrest, and always for arrest, criminal procedure code will only apply. So, normal arrest limit is 2. 2 people you need, no? Yes, ma'am. So, 2 crore rupees, section 69 limit. But, ma'am, for the cognizable offences, which are non-bailable, the limit is 5 crore rupees. Done, ma'am. Moving on to section 70. Acha, whenever you want to meet a person, whenever you want to meet someone, you call them for tea, no? Chal, aaja bhai, chai peete hain. Ma'am, we meet over tea. It's a normal practice that, okay, chalo, you come to our house for tea, no, we'll have tea together. So, ma'am, whenever officer wants to meet you, they will issue you a summon under section 70. They want to meet you. Whenever you want to meet someone, आपको किसी के साथ मिलना है, साथ चाय पीनी है, आपको किसी के साथ चाय पीनी है, 70, you want to meet someone, which means officer can issue you a summon under section 7T. That is how you remember section 7T. Right, ma'am. Where the officer has a power to summon a person, they can call you along with some documents or evidences that they need. They can also call you and ask questions for you and questions to you, and you will have to give explanations. So, during the course of inquiry, if the proper officer feels so, he may summon any person to appear before him, give evidences or produce documents. What is this green color? Amendment as such? No. Yes, but this is already there. Even if you are using the older versions of the book, this same thing was there in the book. They have just via amendment refined the language. So there is no change in understanding. We used to understand this thing only earlier. They have just refined the law language. So we have also changed the language here in the notes. So, ma'am, we understand this, that if officer is calling us for tea, we cannot say no to officer. If officer has issued us a summon, we will of course be duty bound to attend, go. If not possible, we might have an option if officer allows us to send an authorized representative on our behalf also. Right, ma'am. And it will be your responsibility to, of course, state the truth during the examination, make statements or produce documents, whatever the officer is asking to you. Now, this thing for MCQ purpose, you will remember that, ma'am, the document or the evidence that the officer is asking has to be very specific. Officer cannot tell you that bring entire books of accounts of FY 24-25. No. If the officer is summoning you, he might ask you for some documents, accounts, evidences, but has to be very particular that, okay, I need your Jan, Feb, March quarter sales month data that you bring. Jan, Feb, March quarter sales ledger data I need. So, documents, evidences, yes, they can call, but it has to be very particular, not calling entire set of books. Right, ma'am. The person, see, whenever there is a GST officer sitting in front of me, summoning me, pressuring me, it is possible that I might say something which I actually don't intend to say. I might say something which I actually don't intend to say, but it was just in the pressure I said that thing. Do I have an option to modify my statement, to change my statement, to withdraw my statement. Yes, you have. But not with an inordinate delay. It is not like I went home, I talked with my lawyer, we discussed for 2-3 days. Now I am saying the officer that no, that statement I made was in pressure, was in fear, was in nervousness. I don't mean to say that. No. You said something and they have not actually described what is inordinate delay. General understanding, we understand that, okay, within some time you got senses and you are like, no, sorry, I was nervous and I said this, I want to modify. It is okay. If you are a summoned person who is not appearing, you might be prosecuted under Indian Penal Code and penalties up to 25,000 might apply on you. These sections of Indian Penal Code might be applicable on you for these defaults, not that important. Right, ma'am. What are the guidelines on summon? Officer cannot just like call anyone just to have tea. No. They need to use this method only as a last resort. You always have an option of issuing notices. The person will give you all the PDF of document and everything online. Why you actually want to call the person? So this should be only used in last resort where we don't have any other option available. Language should not be harsh. Means the person should not be scared to come and meet you. You have to call the person in a very amicable manner. Before calling someone under summon, you have to take prior permission of at least additional commissioner or an officer above additional commissioner. See, everyone has to respect the time, not just the officer, not just the person who is attending. If officer has given a time of 3, officer's time is also important and the person appearing for summon, his time is also important. So both should be respecting the time. And last point that we understand is, if officer wants to summon Mukesh Ambani, let us say, officer thinks that there are serious problems with Reliance GST compliances and therefore they decided to summon Mukesh Ambani straight away. They are not sure about it. They just have a doubt that there is something going on in Reliance and we should be calling Mukesh Ambani to understand. But ma'am, today, if the news of Mukesh Ambani being summoned gets leaked, do we understand the entire economy and stock market will be shaken for some days? Yes, ma'am. So, to avoid unnecessary turbulences, department is saying that, see, if you want to summon a very big director or a CEO or some large officials of big companies, PSUs, at least you should be sure about their involvement leading to loss of revenue. We are not saying you don't summon them. Everyone should be treated at par only in law. But we are saying don't just call them MA because you have a doubt. Normal person, if you are calling, doubt will be cleared, it will be okay. But here, economy or the stock market may even turbulate. And therefore, whenever you are planning to call some senior management of very big companies or PSUs, at least the officer has to have some genuine sure-shot indications which are indicating that yes, that person is involved. Then okay, you call that person, no problem. Right, ma'am. Then section 71 talks about access to business premises. So during the course of proceedings, officer can have access to your business premises. They can inspect your books, documents, accounts, software, computer, and the person in charge there will be duty bound to provide all the documents. Ma'am, under section 71, what all documents can the officer ask? We remember it as the I am actor list. If they are coming at your premises, they are asking for documents, you have to give the documents. You cannot say, no, I will not give this, that. Your acting will not work. If officer has come to your premises asking for documents, you will have to produce. What is I am actor? I for income tax report, audited annual financial statements, cost audit, trial balance, other relevant records or whatever records you are preparing, maintaining, declaring on the common portal to the officer. All these documents officer can ask from you. Ma'am, what is the difference between section 67 inspection and 71 access to business premises? Because 67 also you said the same thing. Officer, it is softer than search. So officer can come at my premise, ask for anything, I'll have to cooperate, produce. And same thing you are saying in 71 also. What is the difference? Ma'am, 71 is very general. Officer can anytime, any reason come and ask for documents. But 67 was not general. You remember written authorization was required if you have contravened excess ITC, suppression of stock, suppression of supply of goods, which means, ma'am, particular situations, those says situations and then transporter owner not maintaining books properly, etc. In those situations only specific circumstances, section 67 was applicable. 71 is very general. Anytime officer can come and ask you for your accounts or records, and you will have to produce. Ma'am, how can question come from these topics? Straight away questions. Straight away in the question 6, the theory question that you have in exam, they can ask you that tell us what documents can officer access when he or she comes to your business premises. You simply have to write entire section 71. They can ask you who are the proper officers, who are the other officers who can assist proper officer in inspection, search, seizure operations. So ma'am, police officers, railways, customs, the local village officers, etc. can help the GST officer to go and carry out these operations. They can straight away ask you that if a summon is issued, what are the guidelines we need to keep in mind. So in this, there is no possibility of framing some question where some application is involved. Even if you see the question bank and the past questions, they have been asking straight simple theory questions from this chapter. Like once in exam, they had asked, what are the contents of a valid search warrant? You just had to write all the points of VPN and you would get 5 marks. Once in exam, it was asked that in which circumstances inspection can be done. So you were simply required to write the says points and the owner operator transporter point. So pure theory only you will have to learn, and any of this theory might straight up come and give you 4 to 5 marks in examination. Bolo. Is it clear and sorted to everyone? With this, we wind up the chapter of inspection, search, seizure and arrest.